Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the KB Show. I'm joined with Scotty. How are you, my man? Thanks for coming on, brother.
Cheers for having me, man. Awesome.
Looking forward to this episode, guys. This guy's been everywhere. He's traveled around the world. He was a personal chef for Beyonce, Paul McCartney, Rod Stewart. He's trained under Gordon Ramsay himself. You're now restaurant owner in Bondi as well.
Yes, yeah.
So we've got a bit to get through today, to go in your life story. So we'll kick it off first, man. We'll kick it off. You grew up in New Zealand?
Yeah. Grew up in Napier, New Zealand, Hawke's Bay. Yeah.
Lovely.
Started cooking at a young age.
So you've got two loves, I hear. Two loves. That's surfing and cooking.
Yeah.
That's your two loves. Yeah. So were they both discovered in hometown?
Definitely, yeah. Started surfing when I was pretty young in New Zealand. Yeah, I can always see the ocean from my house and stuff. And cooking with grandpa and mum. And, yeah, they kind of both went hand in hand.
Cooking family, was it? Was that got you?
Yeah. Grandpa was a great chef.
Yeah.
Not a chef, but he's a police officer. But, yeah, he's a great cook. And he got
just had that family love of sharing food.
Yeah, and just travel also. Mum and dad travelled heaps.
Cool.
When they were younger, and just looking at their photo albums and like India, Egypt, all these amazing countries. I'm like, I want to do that. And Mum's like, you got to get a job where you can travel.
Yeah.
She's like, why don't you become a chef? Like, you can get a job anyway. Everyone's got to eat. So that was from a young age. I kind of started getting into it so I could travel. Cooking so I could travel.
Well, it definitely worked out well. From what I've heard, you've very well traveled man. You've surfed all over the world. You've cooked all over the world. Before we get into that, tell us a little bit of what it was like growing up in New Zealand, surfing, learning from the master, the grandpa himself, cooking.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty small town, Napier, but just kind of growing up there and like amazing surf, but like not that consistent. Not like Indonesia or
cold too.
Yeah, and in winter it'd be cold. You get the hot water bottle so you could open your car with your hands and stuff. And it was great. Just a good crew of boys and growing up playing rugby there and surfing.
Oh, did you play a bit of rugby too?
Yeah, rugby union. Yeah,
nice.
I was lock.
Yeah.
Played up until like the second 15, and then took the last year off school to do my chef course and work for a year before I got into my
nice. Where'd you do your chef course at? Was this in New Zealand?
Just outside of Napier in a place called Taradale. Done a course there for a couple of years and worked in a winery while I was doing that. And smashed it out.
When was the first kitchen? What was the first kitchen?
East Pierre.
East Pierre.
Yeah.
Where's that at?
Just down from my house in Hawke's Bay. There's a hill in the middle. So I lived on the hill overlooking the ocean. So it's just down the bottom of the hill, right on the waterfront there. So started as a kitchen hand when I had long dreadlocks.
Nice.
Had dreads right down my back, and started as a kitchen hand, and
that's where it all
worked my way up.
Yeah.
And then worked there for a year, and then done my chef course. And while I was doing my chef course, I was working in like a fine dining winery.
Oh, lovely. Getting the sommelier on as well.
Exactly. Yeah. Wine. Yeah.
Yeah, nice, man. So when did the travel start to take place?
Pretty much as soon as I had my first birthday on the plane, actually, on the way to England.
Oh, yeah?
So I guess when I was 1, that was the first time I went overseas.
Oh, okay.
So, Mum's English, so, No, eventually, so as soon as I finished my chef course, pretty much a week later, I went straight to Bali and had like 6 weeks there surfing.
Yeah, as you do.
Yeah, with a few of the boys, and then moved to the Gold Coast for a year.
Yeah, okay.
Worked in the kitchen over there.
The break in this podcast is brought to you by King Beats Apparel. So support the podcast by shopping King Beats. We got the first one, Not Your Average Gym. It's got a screen print on the back. And then we got the Gotcha Shake as well. I'm rocking an XL for this. I'm 95 kilos and 6'1". So jump over, support the podcast, and grab yourself a shirt.
In the Gold Coast, where was that?
A place called Montego's on Tita Ave. Yeah.
Nice. And at this stage, you were starting to get in the prep side of things?
Yeah, I mean, I was qualified chef, but probably they call it like a commie chef to party.
Okay.
And then so I was worked there for a year, and then I was, after the Gold Coast, I was kind of itching to get to Europe.
Yep.
So decided to move to London.
See the big wide world.
Yeah.
So talk us through your experience in London. Obviously, I know that you learnt under Gordon Ramsay, so I'm sure that's intertwined there. But how was the experience in London?
I first moved to Yorkshire, so I was working.
Had a bit of experience in Yorkshire.
Yeah, so my mum was over there actually at the same time, my sisters. So I stayed with my grandparents for a couple of months and worked in this like country town pub, which was
how good's that? So you had family over there. You could just sort of jump in with them.
Yeah, it was a good experience. I was just working in this like little pub in the middle of nowhere, a place called Bondi, just outside of Doncaster.
Yeah. I love some of their names over there, right? Yeah. Well, I spent a little bit of time in England, about 3 years, but some of their names absolutely crack up.
It's wild. Yeah. But I mean, it was fun for a little bit. And then I went down to London for a weekend and visited one of my mate's older sisters and just had a crazy time. She was living in this old church that had been converted into apartments.
Yeah.
They're on the top floor and we just had like an amazing weekend. I was like, right, I'm moving to London.
Yeah, you got an actual taste for London. It's a big difference, from the north of England down to London. Jesus Christ.
There's a lot going on. Yeah, that was in Shoreditch, and it was like 2002. So it was cool, but it was still a bit dodgy. But it was the vibe. And then I always, like moving overseas, I was always like, I want to work with Gordon Ramsay, and a few people were like, yeah, sure, you're not going to do that.
Yeah.
But when I say something, I'm going to do it. So I just looked at I was on the train down from Bondi down to London, just in a magazine. I saw that Gordon was opening up a new restaurant called the Connaught Hotel. He'd taken over a hotel there in Mayfair and went in for a job interview and they were like, we're opening the restaurant in a couple of months, so we're still building it, so we'll put you at Claridge's and put me at Claridge's for a couple of months, and it was amazing. Yeah, worked with a chef called Josh Emmett, another Kiwi guy. Yeah. So he kind of took me under his wing, and usually when you start working with Gordon, you get put on like just peeling veggies and stuff. And but he put me on hot starters, so I was making pasta and all the seafood. And
So you got to start pretty much straight away.
Yeah. So he gave me a
nice that
run.
Kiwi connection.
Yeah, it's
always
awesome.
Works out.
And then that was fun for like a couple of months, and then I had to move to the Connaught, which was pretty wild. It was like a crazy opening with Gordon. They filmed us for like 6 weeks doing a TV show, and
oh really?
It was like Vietnam, people just dropping like flies, like chefs would just end up in tears, and he just it was all about the food being perfect. If the food wasn't perfect,
you just lose his shit. So he really is like that, like off. Like so it's not a character for TV.
Like he's probably worse than what you see on TV. And I was with him in 2002, which is like before he got big in America and stuff. And it was kind of like a privilege to work for him, and no one would really speak out. So I saw some crazy things, like someone overcooked pasta and he'd put the pasta down the guy's chef top, do it back up, and
you're just gonna get away with that stuff these days. Obviously it's completely wrong, but it's kind of like you kind of miss it as well because it's such.
Try not to laugh too. It's pretty like he's real comical, but like you can't crack up like it's when he's yelling at someone else. It's quite funny, but you just try not to.
When he's yelling at you,
yeah.
Was it ever directed your way?
A few times, yeah.
Yeah, get some good sprays.
Yeah, often it's like not even your fault. The worst part saying like you have 2 days off and someone does something with some prep, like didn't prep it right. And he's like, "What the is this?"
Yeah.
And can I swear? No.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
What the fuck is this? I was like, the worst thing is saying, like, it wasn't me.
Yeah.
Like, he's like, that's the worst thing you're just going to say. Even though it was, you just had 2 days off.
Yeah.
You just be like, yes, Gordon, I'm sorry, that was me. Rather than saying it wasn't me because you were just going to.
He just go at you 10 times worse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he wasn't always like that. Like, he taught me how to cook. Like, he showed me, like, he'd show you, like, the correct way how to make something. It was just more for he showed you a way and then you stuffed it, you fucked it up again.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So you really enjoyed your time there, obviously learning from.
Oh, every day I wanted to quit. It was so tough. I was like doing 18-hour days, and I was living in Shoreditch, traveling to Mayfair, and back then there's hardly any buses and stuff. So I was just like finishing work at like 1 a.m, sitting there in the snow, waiting for like the bus, and then you fall asleep on the bus. And then like you wake up in like Whitechapel and you're like, fuck. And you're like try not to get stabbed getting back home. I get home and
there's some dodgy places outside of London.
Get home and there'd be this mad house party. I'm like, oh man. And like DJs
I just want to sleep,
smoke
bro.
machines. And I was living in the attic, so I was like, I had to climb up the ladder to the attic. I'd usually just like washing my chef jacket and ironing it. By the time I've done that, it's time to go back to work at like 5 a.m, and then you're running for the bus and slip over.
So what does that, like an 18-hour day like that look like? So you get there at 5 a.m, obviously you got some prep and stuff. Yeah. Talk us through.
I was on the garner section at the Connaught. So like basically everything that goes on the plate apart from the meat or fish, there's about 16 main courses. So like there's so many components. Every dish would have like 6 components. So just like you start in the morning just doing all the prep, braising all the vegetables and getting all the sauces ready. And then you're just chasing your tail until 12. And then I can remember one time, like, I was like braising fennel and I put it in the oven behind Gordon. And then, you know, got through halfway through service and I forgot the finner was still in the oven. And like every time, like I could see there was smoke coming out of the oven. I knew if he caught me, I was dead. He was gonna like nail me. So every time, like his back was turned, I was like run down, do a knee slide, and look in the oven. Like more smoke was coming out. I managed to turn the oven off, and all the other kind of chefs saw what was happening. It was like the most stressful time of my life. It was like if he found out, he was just gonna like school me in front of everyone,
completely attack you.
And then just I got to like 2:30 in the service. Just as he left, I ran down, opened the oven door, and got the pan, but my tea towel slipped and stuck to my hand. And I just ran into the butchery, put it in the sink, and the whole butchery was just like covered in smoke, and burnt my hand pretty severely. And then, and then he saw, then I spent the time, then I had to get back on the stove and like braise the veggies for
finish the rest of your shift sort of thing.
And it got to like it was about 6 at night, and Gordon can see I was in a lot of pain. He's like, "What have you done?" So I burnt my hand pretty bad. He's like, "Right, it looks bad, but you can't leave now because we need you for service."
Yeah.
So it made me cook for like another 6 hours. like I had like pans everywhere, and just like I'd try and put my hand in ice every like half an hour. But then it got to like midnight. He's all right, fuck off, go to hospital.
Yeah.
And then got to the hospital. The doctor's like, yeah, you can't work for 3 weeks. I'm like, oh, that's not gonna happen. He's like, here's a note. Take it to Gordon tomorrow morning. Took it to Gordon in the morning. He's like, what the fuck is this shit? Fuck off. And what the fuck is that shit in your hand? I got my hand all bandaged up. He's like, you look like fucking Michael Jackson. Fucking take it off. So he made me take off my bandage and just like keep working. But you get used to it. You get numb to it. Yeah. It's all about. So yeah, you taught me a lot.
Yeah, it's a very much sort of sink or swim scenario, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine how this turnover would be massive over there.
Yeah, just like I'd end up doing 10 days in a row because like chefs would just quit. You'd have like, you know, you do 10 days in a row, have 1 day off, come back, and it'd be like a complete new team. Because, and I thought this every day. I was like, I'm not coming into work. Like, you know, I hope maybe we'll be closed today. Walking to work, hoping there's like be a terrorist attack or something. Just
anything.
Yeah,
just give me anything.
Something to get a day off. I'm so tired.
Yeah. But what kept you going? What was the fight behind that?
Well, it got to 6 months, and I was like, I can't do it anymore. And one of my housemates was the maitre d' at Jamie Oliver's restaurant.
Yep.
15, which is it was like a walk close to my house. It would have been like better money, a lot chiller. He was like super nice. Went in for a trial and got the job. And then as soon as Gordon heard that I was leaving, he's like, fucking pussy, what are you leaving for? Why are you going to go cook fish and chips at Jamie Oliver?
You'd have been his long-term employee at this stage.
Yeah. And he's like, just stay for another 6 months at least. You just have that 1 year on your resume is going to look so much better than working for that. Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, so I gave up the job. I was done like a few shifts with Jamie, and it would have been good.
Yeah.
But like it was a restaurant called 15, and he was still kind of training up. He was like training up street kids. So my job would have been to still like train other kids, and I was still wanted to learn myself. So
so you would have been more like of a senior role, but you wouldn't have learned obviously as much. And
exactly, yeah.
I can sort of see that, like even like as I sort of introduce you, is like you learned under Gordon Ramsay's. It is a big thing, isn't it, to have on your resume?
Yeah, it's pretty awesome.
And like I could imagine the respect you get in the restaurant initially from lasting a year as well.
Yeah. So many people just like, I think Jamie didn't even last 2 weeks.
Yeah, really?
Jamie worked with Gordon and just didn't last like a couple of weeks. Yeah.
See, mate, I'm out of here.
You can't do it.
Well, no wonder he called him a pussy.
Yeah.
So after you finished your year with Gordon Ramsay's and you survived.
The plan was just to have a break.
Yep.
I was just I
so
just
you deserve
like 3 months off. Me and 7 mates bought a van. We drove around Europe for 4 months.
Yeah.
So we just left London, went down the coast of France, through Spain, and there's about 75 vans doing the same thing.
Yeah, really.
It was like a big convoy, just all through Europe. For
wow.
It was like 4 months we did in the end. Yeah.
So you got like this 75 years just setting off from whereabouts in London did you just meet?
This is like 7 mates from from who I was living with, and then just all different vans. Just kind of we all the first stop was the Running the Bulls, so everyone kind of met like in Pampeloma, that, and then it's just like different stops. We stop around Europe, and then sometimes if you like a spot, you'd go around the coast and go surfing and find amazing spots just to park up for a couple of days. And
that would be a dream, man.
Yeah, it was wild. Some crazy
How old were you when you were doing that?
21.
21. Fuck. Yeah. That is the dream, isn't it? Just like young, just surfing, cruising around, not a worry in the world.
Nah, it was insane.
Got the Gordon Ramsay's tick of approval in your back pocket.
Yeah. Yeah. So the plan was to do that and then go to New York. Gordon was running a restaurant over in New York, so I was meant to be going to New York to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that all changed when I met a mate of mine called Ryan Wills.
Yeah.
Another Aussie guy, another chef, and he just started working for this agency that catered for musicians. So he put you on with a musician, start like working with, like travel with them around the world. And so yeah, he was about to go work for Ben Harper. So I was like,
okay, yeah, cool.
I want to get involved in that.
Yeah,
so
100.
So he gave me a phone number, and I phoned them up when I was in Paris towards the end of my trip, and they're like, yeah, we can come in for an interview. Yeah. So I went in and they're like, yeah, we're doing the MTV Music Awards in Scotland. Do you want to go out and do that for a month? So I was like,
good.
Sure, I'll do that for a month.
Yeah.
And then, I'll go back to the restaurant in London and get ready to go to New York.
Yeah.
Did that for a month. It was still pretty hard. You cook on show day, you're cooking for like 1,300 people. And it's
1,300 people.
Buffet for all these musicians.
Yeah.
It was cool, and then it was tough. But then after that, I got caught in the office towards the end of the MTV, and they're like, you're going to have to go home early. I'm like, oh, fuck. I thought I made a mistake or something. And we're putting on tour with Beyonce.
Oh, okay.
Like, okay, sick. So like,
did you say so?
I went there all freaking out, and they're like, yeah, you go. And so they put me on tour with Beyonce for 6 weeks around Europe.
How was that?
And that's when I kind of got the taste for working with musicians, and it did. Yeah, it was cool. Yeah, super cool.
Loved it.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That would be such an experience. Like, obviously, even the fact that like you've got to like share a kitchen with Gordon Ramsay's, and then it's like next minute you're freaking cooking for Beyonce. It's like this little kid from New Zealand just rolling with all the celebs.
In the kitchen in the afternoon, I'm making her like grilled cheese sandwiches and stuff. Yeah, and just hanging out, and it was super cool. Had to like shimmy off with her in a club and stuff. And but
How is it like traveling with musicians?
It's tough.
You've done a fair few, as I said before. You've done like Rod Stewart, Paul McCartney, Pink as well, Rihanna.
Yeah. So Kanye, Jay-Z.
Yeah, Jay-Z.
Yeah. Smashing Pumpkins.
Pretty much done everyone.
Donna,
just a couple of name drops here, there, whatever. That'll be guys. But what is some like tough things? Obviously, it sounds glitz and glamour, but I'm sure there's some like
so you're building
hard
a kitchen
knocks
every day. So the kitchen's all like in flight cases on wheels. So your ovens, your dry stores.
Yeah, so it's completely portable. Yep.
Yeah. So like you get there in the morning. Usually, like you wake up on the tour bus pretty severely hungover, or you don't wake up. You pull up and you're outside the venue, and then you're like, right, we've got to build the kitchen. So a lot of places you've already been to before, but sometimes if it's a new location, you get like an empty space, empty room, and you're like, right, this is where we're going to build our kitchen. So you look at where you got power. So every morning you got to have to fully build a kitchen within like half an hour, 45 minutes.
Wow.
Set everything up.
And like I'm guessing it's not just like a little stove like you would say in camping.
3 or 4 ovens and gas burners and the works. Yeah.
So you're pretty much nearly setting up a professional kitchen.
Yeah, pretty much. In like 45 minutes.
45 minutes.
Trying to find
PowerPoints.
And then usually with a hangover.
Yeah. Doesn't help either.
Yeah, nah. And then you go shopping. So like we would get go to the local markets. It's pretty amazing. You get like you're in Barcelona. You're in,
that would be cool.
And like in Italy, and just seeing all this amazing produce. And you'd have a rough menu which you'd like ready to go for the day, but then you see other ingredients that are amazing, and just kind of ready steady cook it and come back and cook breakfast, cook lunch, cook dinner. Pack down the kitchen. Sometimes you have to leave a little bit up to do the after show food.
Yep.
So they can have in their dressing room or take it onto their plane. Or sometimes you go on their plane and then jump on the tour bus and do it all over again.
That's wild.
And just wake up in a new country.
Wake up in a new country and just
speak another language. You're like, I have no idea what's going on.
Who's your favorite to work for?
There's a few like Paul McCartney is a legend to work for.
Yeah,
like he took us all over the world. Got to go to South America and
wow,
all through the States and stuff, and Russia and some awesome countries.
Yeah,
Rod Stewart's a legend. He played in my hometown.
He's the man. Yeah, honestly, like I love his music.
He played in my hometown in Napier, which is pretty cool.
Wow.
Yeah, and all this band came over to my house for a barbecue, and then
no way.
And then they're like, ended up dragging me on stage in front of 30,000 people in my underpants, which is Superman undies.
Is this on YouTube or something?
Yeah, it's on YouTube.
Is it actually?
Yeah.
I'm gonna check this out. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, I was so like they told me when I was drunk the night before, like, Rod wants you up on stage dancing to "Sexy," that song, and like was like, yeah, fuck, I'll do it. And
yeah, whatever.
Next day, hungover, like, Rod comes up to me, he's like, you going on stage with me tonight? I'm like, what? He's like, you're wearing your Superman undies? I'm like, what? Like, yeah, I am actually. He's like, perfect. And then next thing you know, I'm like in my underpants dancing in front of 30,000 people in my hometown.
That's hilarious.
Surreal.
Yeah, I got to watch that YouTube footage, 100%.
But yeah, he was cool. Like he came to a restaurant in Bondi, which is really cool. You know, telling everyone like I work with Rod, and then everyone's like, yeah, sure you did.
Yeah,
he pulls up in like a black SUV and comes out, gives me a hug, and so his wife, and I'm walking down like Curlow Street with Rod Stewart and his wife. It's like, what the fuck? Like,
who's this guy?
I told you guys.
I was talking shit.
Yeah.
That's hilarious, man. No, he is one of the GOATs. I love his music.
Yeah.
So obviously you got the flip side. Who were some prima donnas to work for?
Madonna.
Some prima donnas, like who were a bit of a punish to work for.
I'm saying Madonna.
Oh, Madonna.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was tough.
It was, in a few ways. Like just the tours are tough as well.
Yeah.
Like we were traveling all over the world, it was amazing, but sometimes just doing back-to-back shows. So like you've been in these huge stadium tours, and they'd have actually three cities in a row kind of set up. So one's they're setting up, one's they're taking down.
Okay, yeah.
It's such a big tour. So like
yeah.
when you turn up, there's actually an advanced team of chefs that are already there that have already built the kitchen.
Oh
So
shit!
you just kind of turn up and just everything's kind of set up, and all your shopping's done, which is, I mean, that was kind of upside, but you just kind of like you just get no days off.
Yeah, it's just.
I mean, you being every now and then you get a day off, but it was tough.
So what was like the longest stretch where you've just like back to back to back?
I think the longest day I actually did was put with Paul McCartney once, in Santiago in Chile.
Yeah,
and we started at 9 at night.
Yeah,
and we finished at 1 in the morning. The following day, like 4 days later. Worked all the way through the night.
Some benders don't even last that long.
Yeah, I know. Pretty impressive. But then we got 2 weeks off in Santiago, which is cool.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dream. Yeah, you take that.
Yeah, exactly.
You take that.
But I mean, like, she was probably an artist that didn't have too much to do with.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, you know, Paul, you'd be in the kitchen cooking, turn around and he's like behind you, just like, what you making?
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Any unusual requests?
I mean,
like obviously you have your sort of set menu, but did they come to you? Everyone was like, "Oh, tonguing for this," like as you said, double cheese sandwiches for Beyonce.
Yeah. I mean, Stevie Nicks had a pretty unusual request.
Yeah,
which was pretty crazy.
Can you give us any details?
Probably not, but yeah. I can say what it was, but I don't know what It was 2 whole chickens and 4 extra large zucchinis.
Yeah,
which is just kind of weird. Like 1 chicken was for a dog. And I don't know what the zucchinis were for.
Yeah, how the other half live.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So you sort of did that for on and off for 10 years, was it?
Yeah, so I did the tour with Beyonce, and the plan was to like, well, I've got all this cash, I'm going to go surfing. So I went to Tahiti, went on an amazing surf trip, went back to New Zealand, I caught up with everyone, and then I was, always meant to go to New York.
Yeah.
Got back.
Gordon Ramsay, New York.
Yeah.
Sorry, we got on a tangent.
Yeah, he still got me on hold.
Yeah.
He's probably still waiting. Yeah.
He's still waiting.
Yeah. So, then I ended up came back to London, did a tour with like Duran Duran and The Who, and then, I got the job with Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
And then, it was like 7 years with him. Just went by. So I just I'd do a tour for 3 or 4 months, get us money, go surfing, stay in like luxury like surf resorts all over the world, and then as soon as the money's run out, I'll call up my boss and be like, Kim, I need a job. She's like, right. She's like this crazy eccentric Australian lady.
Yeah.
She's like, right, love, you're gonna rush it tomorrow morning, pack your bags, and you just jump on a flight from South Africa or whatever country you're in.
Yeah.
Or been surfing and just get back into it.
That's an absolute dream, man.
Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah. So you just so I can understand why you did that for the next 10 years, because it's just like wow. So just ringing up, hey, I need some money. Yeah, you go and rush it, mate.
Yeah.
Like people like plan for months to be able to go do that, and you're just ringing someone up and you're off there.
And then with the surf trips, I would just usually not even like last minute, I'll just spin the globe and be like, right, I'm going there.
Going there.
Never been there, maybe I'll go there.
What was one of your favourite surf spots?
I actually ended up working in a surf resort, Wave Park, which is an amazing spot in the Mentawai Islands in Indonesia.
Oh, cool! Yeah,
awesome. So, actually, I was meant to go out there with the boys, and then I ended up having to go on tour with Madonna, so I had to cancel the trip.
Yeah.
And then the owner was like, yeah,
she ruins everything.
Yeah. And then the boys are talking to the owner of the island, Christy, and they're like, he was like, where's your mate Scott? Why isn't it coming out? He's like, oh, he couldn't make it until with Madonna. And he's like, well, I need a chef. You can be keen. And then, the boys like, hell yeah. So I went out for that following that year for a 2-week trial, and he gave me the job, and then went out the following year for 6 months.
Yeah, wow.
And I was just working this luxury surf resort for cooking for 12 people.
Cooking for 12 people as well.
Yeah, they were like the best waves in the world.
Yeah, just absolutely living the dream.
And getting paid for it.
Yeah, that literally is like you got your two loves, surf resort, cooking for 12 people in a luxury.
Yeah, it was mad.
Any good stories from your time in Indonesia?
There's a few. How much time you got?
Oh, we got a bit. We still got a bit.
Yeah. There was a crazy earthquake when I was out there.
Yeah, actually, I was in one, but from what I've heard, it doesn't sound as bad as your one.
8.6.
8.6.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. Yeah.
Fuck, that's huge.
Yeah. I was just hung over at the time. I thought it was just my headache kicking in. But I was like,
how drunk am I?
Yeah, I know. I had my birthday, and then I went to bed pretty early. And I was living in a treehouse at the time, so I was on stilts.
This is like out of a fairy tale.
Yeah. So I'm in the treehouse, and like it just starts rocking. I'm like, what is this? And then like it was like a pretty solid tremor.
Yeah.
And then they were like, that was at night. And then we we're like, okay, this might be another big earthquake coming. Let's just get prepared in case a huge earthquake comes and tsunami comes. So we all had our bags packed with our passports ready to rock.
Yep.
And then 7 in the morning. Throughout the night, there's some little tremors, and then 7 in the morning, this starts just rocking violently.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, we're on here.
Yeah.
So I dive, roll down the stairs, my undies, look out to the open plan restaurant. And there's just stuff flying everywhere, and there's coconuts going everywhere.
Jesus Christ, he's dogging coconuts left, right,
and
knock you out for sure.
Then jumped on the canoes, went out to deep water.
Yep.
Just to avoid the tsunami.
Yeah.
Because you park up on the channel, the wave can't break. And then luckily the tsunami went out to sea, didn't hit us.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's lucky.
Yeah, but then I went back in the kitchen just trying to make everyone omelets just to cheer everyone up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that would have been wild.
Shake and,
I remember when I was in Bali actually, and woke up same as you, hungover, 7 in the morning to like this freaking earthquake. I was like, what's going on? Packed all the bags. I was like, there's a tsunami coming.
We're out. Climb up the trees.
I didn't think to jump on a canoe, but I was just like, I'll just get to higher ground somewhere. There's got to be higher ground somewhere. Yeah, but that's wild, just paddling straight out to it. I love it.
Yeah.
So fast forward from there, you've been working here for 6 months. Where does it take you from there?
What did I go after that? I ended up going back to Europe.
Yep.
Got a job with Kanye. No, Smashing Pumpkins, I think. Yeah.
Smashing Pumpkins. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
How good.
Kanye after that.
Yeah. Kanye after that.
Yeah.
How was that actually? He's like,
it was actually pretty cool. He was pretty cool to work for.
Yeah.
Back then.
Have you seen his documentary?
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
Yeah. He actually looks like a pretty cool dude.
Yeah.
Like obviously he's quite eccentric when you see him on camera, but like he seems like quite an artistic kind of.
I think he's just
bit misunderstood in a way.
Yeah, I mean he was pretty cool when I was working for him, and then he actually remembered me a few months later, which was cool. I was working with Rihanna, and I was backstage, and he kind of came up, gave me a big hug and stuff, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
pretty gangster when
he
recognised you.
Just dabbing you. Hey,
bro,
how you doing?
Everyone's like, how do you know Kanye? I'm like, I told you guys.
I told you guys. I'm a fucking rock star on this shit.
All over it.
Yeah. So obviously you've come back to Australia. You've opened up a few restaurants here.
Yeah.
First one was 212.
2 and 12. Yeah.
How did that come about?
A mate of mine, Patty. Well, I actually first came back. We had opened up a restaurant called Panama House.
Oh, okay.
A couple of friends. Right. Yeah, a couple of friends of ours had the concept, and me and my good friend Pat, we toured with Madonna together. And he's another Kiwi guy. Yeah. So we toured with Roger Waters around the States, and but we came back, and he was going to be opening up that restaurant for the boys, and so I kind of gave him a hand doing that, and did that for a couple of years, and then, but me and Pat always talked about opening up our own own restaurant. I spent a lot of time in the States. Max was from Louisiana, and spent a lot of time Southern style food, and we ended up
cool.
So we ended up opening a restaurant called 2 and 12. Yeah. On Killoa Street.
Yeah.
And that was 8 years ago or something.
Yeah, and you was cooking American barbecue out of there?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, a bit of seafood and all different kinds of, Yeah,
how good. And then it transferred from there to Milky Lane, was it? Yeah.
And then we end up changed up some of the partners, and we a few of the boys came in and we turned it into Milky Lane. And then, we ended up cranking Milky Lane for a few years.
Yeah,
Still cranking now. Yeah.
How many locations are you up to now? Actually,
10.
10 locations now.
Up in Perth next month. So.
Yeah. Where did that come from? Like, how did that come about? The whole Milky Lane idea.
There's like 4 of us. Yeah. Me, Pat, Pete, and Christian.
Yeah.
We kind of, Christian and Pete kind of had the idea, and then me and Pat kind of wrote the menu, and we all kind of worked together.
Yeah. Because it is quite unique with like all the burgers.
It's pretty over the top.
Yeah. It's definitely up there and quite unique.
Yeah.
But you've made a bit of a change. Obviously, we spoke about just now all the burgers and it's quite over the top sort of menu. Now you're plant based.
Yeah, it's all plant based. Yeah, the new concept called Flave.
Yeah.
It came about 2.5, almost 3, coming up 3 years when I first met Stu.
Yeah.
Stuart Cook. He was the CEO of Zimbero.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah, he sold out in 2016 and went on a honeymoon with his wife Sam, and they were actually in Costa Rica when she ate a dodgy coconut and got really sick. Got airlifted to the hospital. The doctors put her on a plant-based diet.
Okay.
They weren't plant-based themselves at the time, and then Stu went on the plant-based diet too, just because they were on the honeymoon. And so they still had they were doing like a year-long honeymoon. So they're like halfway through, but they were just traveling in the world and finding there was no good plant-based food around the world.
Yeah,
it's always like an afterthought.
Yeah.
And then they decided to come up with the plant-based restaurant concept.
Yeah.
Called Flave, and they didn't have a chef yet.
Well, so they just she had this infection, and then from there they put her on plant-based diet, and she just loved it, and
she felt better, and
and then from there,
just
Flave was started.
It's better for the environment. And
yeah.
If we can get everyone in the world to eat plant-based twice a week, it's just going to have a huge impact on the environment.
Yeah.
I met Stu actually at Milky Lane. We were kind of looking for a new CEO who was potentially doing some consulting, and he pulled me aside after our meeting, and he's like, "I've got this new concept. It's all plant-based. Do you know of any like good chefs that aren't plant-based themselves, but are really good at like plant-based cooking?" And I was like, "Oh, I think of someone." He's like, I could potentially write your menu. And he's like, "Oh, really? What experience you got?" Trained with Gordon Ramsay.
Just roll out the
You know that Paul McCartney? Yeah. He's vegan, so he's cooked for him.
Yeah, well, he's plant-based, isn't it? So is that where a lot of the inspiration behind cooking vegan come from?
Different countries all over the world. You're in Russia, and he asked you to make a plant-based sushi buffet for 300 people. And I'm like, yeah, sure, no worries. I'll just figure out how to make tuna. Yeah. And that's where I actually figured out, that's when I've got this amazing tuna dish I used to make, which was originally like made out of tuna. Yeah. Which I learned when I was in Denver, and I made that into a plant-based dish. Yeah. So I just figured out how to make tuna out of tofu, tomato, and seaweed, and beetroot, and a bunch of other ingredients. Yeah. And that's pretty much what that is an interesting take, and I know you've sort of incorporated that into Flave. Is like it is different flavors from all around the world, but they've got that vegan twist. Exactly. And obviously you would have learned that from your travels. What were some other good ones that you came across in your travels to turn into a vegan dish? There's a bunch. I mean, like working with Paul, like, he's not plant-based. He still likes the taste of meat and fish. And so does like all the road, like you're working like roadies and sometimes like 300 crew, and like, he's trying to create food where they're not going to miss out, Yeah. So, there's like, create any dish, you just got to figure out how to make it plant-based. Yeah. But you're trying to obviously make it for the masses and enjoyable for everyone and flavorful for everyone. Amazing curries, using these amazing different products you can use now. There's a product called Fable. It's kind of like made of shiitake mushroom stalks, but it's just like braised beef. So you can make like amazing like curries and make it into smoked brisket. And yeah, so that's sort of what you use to create the burgers, because it's still quite a wholesome meal. Like it's quite hearty, isn't it? The meals you got, it's not like as if it's just a broccoli on the plate. No, it's not. Yeah, your typical heavy vegan food. Yeah. We got 6 burgers, 6 bowls, and they're all like from countries all over the world. We've got like a So you got your sushi one, obviously from so the good Japanese thing, so we've got like a sushi bowl, but the same ingredients. It's also made into a burger as well. Yeah, and then we've got the Italian like meatball burger.
Oh, okay, yeah,
inside
cool.
Inside like a garlic bread bun, eggplant parmigiana and pesto, and then that's also made a bowl as well.
Yeah,
and a bunch of I've got the Texan barbecue burger.
Yeah, it's the Texan one.
Yeah.
Nice. They usually pretty much transfer that over. That's such a good idea, man. And as you said, it's great for the environment. Obviously, some people can obviously do a lot better with eating less burgers in some case, but you still want to get that taste, don't you?
And we're not just like targeting just vegans. We're just like, we're a good, healthy, amazing restaurant that just happens to be plant-based. So we're just, we're getting like Argentinian meat eaters come in, like, that's an amazing burger. And we're like, it's plant-based. Like, no, we know what meat is.
Yeah.
We're from Argentina. We know. Like, no, it's plant-based. Like, wow, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So just trying to cater for everyone.
Yeah, well, that's amazing, man. And obviously you got the experience behind it. Lucky that he came through and asked you about it.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so what is the plan for Flave moving forward? Obviously, you got your first restaurant in Bondi, but you're expanding.
We're looking at other sites around Sydney. Yep. We've got plans to go international potentially in August. We're looking at a country that we might be going over to.
Yeah, nice.
But the plan's to 1,000 restaurants over the next 10 years.
1,000 restaurants in the next 10 years. Wow.
Yeah, we've got big plans. We've got some big players on board.
Yeah. Well, you got the CEO of Sambera, or like the ex-CEO of Sambera, so that's amazing.
Yeah, we've got one of the architects from McDonald's. She designed all the drive-thrus for McDonald's, and amazing team. One of the ex-Starbucks, Jessica, she started with Starbucks when they had 50 restaurants 20 years ago. Thought she'd missed the boat.
Yeah.
And then she opened up 17,000 restaurants for them, for Starbucks. And we've got a great team.
Got the absolute dream team behind us.
Yeah, got Jake Batane. He was like operations for Betty's Burgers, and
awesome, man. I can't wait for it. So the next one is maybe Darlinghurst?
Potentially Darlinghurst. We've got a pop-up site in Newtown as well. We're looking for a full site over there.
Yep.
We plan to do a few ghost kitchens all around Sydney.
Yep.
Just so we can kind of cater around.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that's the easy way just to set up and get the
word
out there.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Well, thanks heaps for coming on, bro. I really appreciate it. Please do let the people know where they can find you and where they can also find Flave as well. Obviously, socials.
Yeah. Bondi.
Bondi, the actual physical location, but socials.
Flave World. It's our Insta handle, and mine's Scotty Fins.
Scotty Fins. Yeah. Awesome, my man.
Awesome. Cheers, Ledge.
Thanks for that, guys. See you next week. I appreciate you joining in, and thanks again, Scotty.
Cheers, bro.